Swansea. Aubameyang, oh brilliant! He took it first time and with devastating effect. Put through by Steve Bold, would you believe it?
I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we
chase. The game, according to the referee, and Bergkamp certainly life in hand.
No, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go.
Henry, what a goal!
Dance through the highways till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go.
He's in again, pushed out by Bartes. Wiltor!
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another show. Welcome back to the Blind Gooner. Hope you're all keeping safe and well on this Monday evening over here in the UK. So listen, I hope you're all keeping safe and well. Joining me to discuss the fans forum and the protest and all the madness of last week is AKHIL. How you doing, AKHIL?
I'm very well, Daniel. Thank you for having me and thank you for inviting me. Yeah,
no worries. Listen, it's great to have you on. And listen, I know there's listen, we've got lots to cover. I know what we're going to do is we're probably going to go for about 25 minutes to half an hour, and then I know you've got a prior engagement after, haven't you? So yeah, we'll crack on. But listen, everybody, there's 47 people watching. So smash the like and subscribe if you are new to the channel. Would really appreciate it. So let's start with the fans forum, because you were a part of it. You were on the call. Give us your first impressions of what happened, and give us your, now you've had time to sort of think about it, and just give us a little bit of insight of what that was like and what your feelings were coming out of that.
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, obviously, a lot happened last week, if anyone didn't notice, and that started from last weekend with the announcement. And then this particular fans forum on Thursday was actually, it was meant to be on regardless. So it was the fans forum happens every 2 to 3 months, where representation from the club get to come and talk to the CEO and the exec team and stuff like that. This particular one was actually cancelled a few days before the weekend for reasons we're not quite sure about, some sort of a prior engagement or something. And then obviously on Monday, we kind of asked and said, well, this forum is more important than any others. It needs to be on. So we really, at the Arsenal Supporters Trust, we really pushed for it. And then it was put back on. And then obviously as things went on with kind of the Super League and all that kind of stuff, once that kind of statement came out on the website on Tuesday night, that kind of said that, Arsenal apologises and all that, but it was signed off by the Arsenal board. Now, the Arsenal board is actually only 4 people. It's Stan Kroenke, Josh Kroenke, Tim Lewis and Lord Harris. So having a fans forum with kind of the CEO didn't really make sense, because the statement was signed off by the board. So I think it was essential that someone from the board was there. So all the reps got together and made sure that, we're putting our voice forward. We asked for someone from the board to be there. And then obviously that's maybe potentially how Josh Kroenke ended up maybe getting the short straw. So Josh Kroenke was there. I'm sure people have seen the transcripts and I think a few recordings have been leaked. Certainly wasn't leaked by me, but it felt a little bit, there was a lot of one-word answers from Josh. At times it felt like maybe did he want to be there? I'm not sure. But I mean, at the end of the day, some people aren't public speakers. They don't like that sort of stuff. So I don't You know, all the thing about did he want to be there or not, I don't know. We're not in his head. We can't tell. But we met him about 2.5 years ago at a fans forum. And that was it was a bit, we didn't know he was coming, so we couldn't prepare. But it was a very polite and respectful forum. You know, questions that were asked around Arsenal's ambition, Kroenke's plans. It was all very, very nice. So Josh, in a way, it was a nice engagement for him 2.5 years ago, and no one really put any pressure on. Now, for 2.5 years, we haven't heard from him until now, and it's taken a very bad decision in the Super League for it to happen that we actually get to hear from him again. So I think there was a sense of we can't do what we did 2.5 years ago and be overly polite and respectful, because in a way he'll get away with it and we probably won't see him for another 2 years. So we really need to make sure he knows how we're feeling, and hopefully, you know, that's what we got out.
Yeah, and you know, there was some things in the transcript that it was baffling. You know, absolutely baffling about the comment about you know, the fans want to see Barcelona, but they want their cold nights in Stoke as well. I was just it just smacks of somebody who's so out of touch with the English game.
Yeah, I think you're spot on. I think it's very dangerous to start presuming what people think, and that's at any level. And I asked Josh Kroenke that. I kind of said, how do you know what people are thinking? Because you never actually asked. You know, you never asked. And I used kind of, you know, terminology of customers rather than fans, because I believe that's what we are to the Kroenkes. We're customers. But I said, even in any other business, you ask your customers what they're thinking. You know, think about just the Arsenal Supporters Trust. We're a voluntary sort of membership organisation, but we are regulated and stuff like that. But we have surveys going out to members every kind of year to find out what our members are thinking, because we need to know what they're thinking in order to represent. And I think for a club like Arsenal, before making a huge decision like a Super League, they should have found out what fans think. And there is some stuff out there already. You know, the Arsenal Supporters Trust have put their views in writing. We've asked them at the fans forum before. They're in the minutes. All Josh had to do is look at the minutes, and you would have seen that most the fans that have certainly had a voice and spoken have opposed the Super League. So it was a poor answer, and I think, like you, Daniel, I think a lot of people probably were baffled by that.
Yeah. And you know, you listen, I saw as it was coming out, and I think you were like the first one up or something, and you just got stuck right in, and just and it was just like, I think why a lot of people was cheering you on, because you were saying what everybody, if they were come face to face with Josh, would exactly say the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Thank you. Firstly, that's obviously very kind. But I think, you know, there were other questions that I asked first. It was important to us in the trust to make sure that any costs that are incurred are being covered by KSE. So we made sure we asked that first. We asked about representation at boardroom level, because I think that's important as well. I think last week shown that Arsenal and the board need some fans up there to actually represent and tell them what fans are thinking. Now, I'm not saying that should be me, just to make that clear, because I'm not qualified for that, and I'm certainly not intelligent enough to do that. But if you put a couple of, you know, fans who are maybe business owners, ex-players who, you know, you think about all the club legends we've got who absolutely love our football club, you know, if you put them on the board, then suddenly you've got representation from fans, and then we can carry on doing what we're doing. But I think it definitely needs them. So we ask questions like that. Josh Kroenke said he's up for engaging. You know, the fact that it took something like this for him to come and talk to us tells me he's probably not up for engaging, but he can change that. He's got an opportunity to change that, and only he can change that. So we'll see. But there were a few genuine questions before, you know, saying, you know, kind of, you know, I mean, I feel he is a bit out of touch. I don't think they quite understand English football. And kind of the point was, if you don't understand English football and you're not willing to, then maybe you should leave. And I strongly, but I still believe that now.
Yeah. No, listen, and it was the thing that I took away from the forum and the whole transcript. I was quite surprised that I looked at it and I thought it's kind of it's still a bit protective of Josh and the Cronkies when the way it was set up. I think you guys it was all coming out, the posts and that, and then it was over really quickly. I was like, why is it? It's only been going. You must have been going for what, about 47, 50 minutes. I was like, it was a bit kind of a bit too quick, you know. I was like, surely these things go on for a bit longer than what 47 to 50 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, things like that's quite common. I mean, at the end of the day, Arsenal will employ people to look after their comms, and they will be responsible for the reputation of Arsenal Football Club. So, and I totally respect that, because I do that in my day job elsewhere. So they have a duty to try and protect Arsenal, and the longer these kind of forums go on, maybe the less protection they're giving their owners and their team. So I totally get that, which is why it's important to get your questions, your voice kind of heard in that limited time you had. And I like to think that's what fans did there, because it wasn't just me. There was several others who did ask great questions, said their points, and it was a collective effort for sure.
Yeah. And you know, did you get, because I personally look on it and think, listen, he probably isn't going to change. He isn't going to change. They ain't going to change. Why, you know, after this, you know, they've owned the club for what, 10, 11 years, and they've not engaged before. Why are they going to engage now? Like, I just got that feeling that a lot of Josh's answers were kind of soft soaking the fans a little bit into thinking that things were going to be different.
Well, that's up to fans now. You know, as fans, we need to really kind of push it, you know, and we need to, and that's, you know, fans at games, outside stadiums, like we saw on Friday, groups like the AST and all the others as well, to make sure that we're taking this opportunity. It feels like maybe the door's slightly open for change. And when I say change, you know, whether it's the owners selling up, which they've said they won't do, but if it's that, or if it's just having some representation in the boardroom, engaging more, it feels like it, you know, I mean, a very small thing, but during the meeting, I you know, I felt that things were being said, but, you know, were we taking some actions? Were we actually going to follow up on it? And that was something I made sure to say that, well, you know, next week or the week after, we expect to have a chat about engagement. With Josh has said he's open to it. So what's the plan? How are we going to action that? When's the follow up? So it's up to fans to keep kind of banging the drum a little bit. But we'll see. You know, are the Cronkies going to engage with us? No idea. You know, they haven't shown anything in the last 10 years. So let's see what happens. But I feel that there's a bit of an opportunity. You know, we're lobbying government as well. There's a review being sort of ongoing. It's hopefully an opportunity. The club, you know, the club apologised and stuff like that, which is all good and well. But we can now try and use that to our advantage and actually get them to change the way they work, because ultimately that's what they have to do.
Yeah, and you know, I actually think that if anything good has come out of this, it's united the Arsenal fan base.
Yeah,
because let's be honest, we've had some divisions across the fan base, and I think that what Stanners and the Cronkies have done have actually, they might not have intended to, but they've inadvertently united the fan base. And that's the thing that I get frustrated on a personal level, is that we always hear from Josh, we never ever hear from Stan. I sit there thinking, does this guy even talk? Do you know what I mean? I think I've seen him do one thing about the Rams on a YouTube clip, and that's it. Nothing ever about Arsenal.
Yeah, I mean, I think I've heard him speak once at an AGM, and I think the first thing he said was, "I'm not sure why people want me to talk," which just shows he didn't quite get it. But I don't think he's the best public speaker. And I'm certainly not defending him, but I know he's probably not the best public speaker. But then he needs to know that when you own a football club, there's a responsibility that comes in that. It's such a passionate game in this country. Fan bases is huge. If you're not a good public speaker, fine, but do written statements more. There's other ways around it, and I'm sure the comms team at Arsenal will be up for helping him communicate more with fans if he really wanted to. But you get the feeling that he doesn't want to, and that's part of the issue.
Yeah. Listen, there's over 30 people in chat. Do smash the like button and smash the subscribe button. If you haven't done so already, follow the banner across for all the information to all the platforms. With the protest, let's go on to the protest. Your thoughts and feelings, because I thought it was a very good turnout. I actually thought, and I was gutted I couldn't be there myself. But I looked at it and I saw everybody there, and it was by and large a peaceful, respectful protest, if there is such a thing as a peaceful and respectful protest. But I think there was only a couple of isolated incidents, but generally on the whole, everybody was together to get their message across.
Yeah, absolutely. The AST would always support peaceful protests that are sensible, that adhere to law, social distancing at the moment, all that kind of stuff, as long as they're respecting the rules. So yeah, it felt like it went well. People were, behaving themselves and stuff, and hopefully the bigger message got to KSE in America.
Yeah. And do you think, in your heart of hearts, do you think there's a possibility of getting this guy out our club? Do you think he will? Listen, we've all seen reports of people throwing their hat into the ring.
Yeah.
To buy the club, whether that's just talk or whether it's just because of the public mood. The owner of Spotify has just come out recently and thrown his hat into the ring. But do you honestly think that the Kroenkes will sell? Do you think? I know they say that there's no intention, they've got no intention, but with so much pressure, they're going to have seen that, right? The protests, they're going to have seen what's gone on. Josh already said himself that he must be looking online because he's seen that Chelsea fan quote. So do you think there's a chance of getting these guys out?
I think there's always a chance, but at the moment it's probably not very likely, purely because they own the club. They're in full control. I think they have no intention of selling, and they haven't for a while. But I don't know. You could be a house owner or a car owner and say, I've got no intention of selling. But then if the price is right or something like that, it could tempt you. So I think, a lot of it is, fans have made their feelings clear. I think that probably needs to continue. There is stuff going on in government. If suddenly government changes the structure of the way clubs are owned and you need to give some shares back to the fans, then Kroenkes may think, oh, actually, is this worth it? That's not kind of what we wanted to happen. So potentially something like that could make them sell. It could be the Spotify owner making a big offer. I don't know. So do I think they'll sell? They don't want to sell. I would say that pretty sure. They don't want to sell. But things can change, and stuff. So I think we certainly at the Arsenal Supporters Trust, we just want a change of how it works. Whether it's the Kroenkes, whether it's somebody else, we want supporter representation in there. So things like last week can't happen. So things like, out of touch owners can't happen because they're in touch because those fans on the board are telling them so, or the ex-players or whoever it is. So regardless of what happens with the Kroenkes or not, we certainly want change, and I think we need to get change.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. And what worries me is that the longer these owners, and we've seen it's not just at Arsenal, but the longer these owners are in charge, this Super League idea could always come back. You know,
Yeah.
they'll what they'll probably do.
Oh,
What they'll probably do. Yes, even the dog's fed up with the
even
Cronkies.
your
You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like,
exactly.
yeah, even the dog's had enough of the Cronkies. You know what I mean? Like it's just, but you know, all while I feel what they will do now is that they will look at this and go, listen, let's go and make some variations and try and come back with this again with this Super League idea.
Yeah, yeah. I think you know, I mean, Florentino Perez is certainly not giving up, but I think you're right. I mean, it could come back again in a year or two. We got to make sure that doesn't happen. It will probably, if it does come back, it will probably be in a different format. I think the sporting merit thing, I think they have understood that loud and clear. But yeah, you're absolutely right. If it's happened once, why, do we have a guarantee it won't happen again? Probably not. So something
Yeah,
we need to keep
listen,
an eye on.
absolutely. And moving forward, because I've said, listen, the protest on Friday was fantastic. It was absolutely amazing to see all those fans there, and it was amazing to see the unity amongst the Arsenal fan base. But you've got to keep that up. You've got to keep the intensity of those protests up, because if you do it once and then forget about it and just let it drop off, the Cronkies will just go, they've just, they're obviously they've backed down. So we've got to keep it up. And what's the plans moving forward?
So I think things will kind of organically happen. The protest on Friday was an organic protest. It was people, social media, the voice of social media, and I think those will continue happening. And as I said, as long as they're done safely, then there shouldn't be an issue. But I think for us, it's the lobbying the government. I think that's the main thing that will bring change. I think the Cronkies could sell. What's to say the next owner isn't as bad? We don't know. So it's all about changing the structure of things. 'Cause it's not just Arsenal. We're working with other supporter clubs in the country. Man United, Spurs, Liverpool. They all have similar issues. They all want fans within their club because their owners just don't get it. So I think that will be the big thing. Get some sort of structural change. Boris Johnson, the Prime Minister, did commit last week. Of course, they're politicians, so you have to, not believe everything you hear, maybe. But Tracy Crouch, who's the former sports minister, is actually heading this up, and she's already done some work on that. So here's hoping that could be the real change. I think, creating noise, and whether that's, the AST were trying to get KroenkOut trending on Friday as well, and it was trending. So that was great. And all that helps. The noise helps. But ultimately, if you're living in another country, you're probably not seeing that noise as much as, others in this country are. So I think it's noise, but I think it's the government stuff that will really hopefully make a difference.
Yeah, no, I think you're absolutely right. And I think that, it's the only thing I worry about, and we've seen, I alluded to earlier with the isolated incidents, that what I worry about is Arsenal fans targeting our American fan base because of the Cronkies, which look, we need to be careful as well with that. We don't target abuse or protesting, and we don't target our loyal American fans as well, because we've got some passionate American supporters.
Yeah, I don't think that's an issue. I think, as you say, we've got passionate American supporters. The AST have got American members as well, and we absolutely welcome them. And all of them are telling us that they dislike Stan Kroenke as much as anybody else here. So I don't think there's any issue with that. This isn't an American thing at all. The top six, they weren't all just American owners. There were other nationalities. So I think it's fine. You even look in England, Newcastle United are trying to get Mike Ashley out. He's not American, and stuff like that. So it doesn't matter who it is. It's not about nationality here. So Arsenal's
the only what I was, because I saw a thing online with a group of Arsenal fans burning the American flag, and I was just like, I don't. Do you know what I mean? Like, don't undo all our good work with the protest, because, you know, with that, I don't want to see the fan base go to that level. I know it's a minority. I know it's, you know, it's a small number and of fans, but unfortunately, it's the minority that sticks out, isn't it? It's the minority.
Yeah, I haven't seen that, so I can't really comment. But yeah, no, definitely not. Arsenal's a global club, so yeah.
Well, yeah. Listen, AKHIL, I want to thank you, because I know we're pushed for time, but I want to thank you. I want to thank you for coming on. Listen, it's been a real pleasure talking to you, and you know, getting an insight, and you know, I know you guys at the Arsenal Supporters Trust are doing great work, you know, to try and get the voice of fans heard, and I know you guys are working tirelessly to make changes happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, we've got so much encouragement last week from fans and members, you know, telling us to keep going. And we had a virtual event last week, which now, Daniel, you're a member of, so you'll be able to join them from the next one. But you know, we had hundreds turn up, where we kind of updated on what was going on and stuff like that. So it was great. You know, it was great to see kind of everyone. I think what you said earlier about the Kroenkies kind of brought us together without meaning to, I think is spot on. And I think fans were united, and it was great to see. So the Arsenal Sports Trust will continue to fight this, and I'm sure so will fans. So, you know, in the short term, let's hope that we can, you know, have a good result against Villarreal and do something in that Europa League. But certainly long term, we want to change the structure of ownership.
Yeah, definitely. And before we wrap up the show, can I get a score prediction for Thursday?
Oh, blimey. We're away, aren't we? We're away first, aren't we? Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're away first and then home second leg.
I mean, it would be great to win away, wouldn't it? It would be absolutely magic to do that, but it's a tough one. So, I mean, I would take like a 2-2 draw or something like that, because it gives you 2 away goals. But it'll be great to win, because obviously at home our record hasn't been great. So it'd be great to win, but I'll take a 2-2. But 2-1 would be better, obviously.
Yeah, definitely. Well, listen, thank you for joining me. And guys, thank you to everybody who's tuned in today. Apologies, it's just a short show, you know, with time and that. But listen, I'll be back tomorrow. I'll be joined by Sophie from the Highbury squad, so look out for that. And then I'll be back on Friday as well with lead judges at 3 p.m. And then also possibly Kevin Campbell's coming on. That's not confirmed yet. Just got to fix up the time and sort everything out. But yeah, do hit the like button on your way out. Do subscribe if you're new to the channel. And take care, everybody. And I'll see you back here tomorrow.
Yeah, and just to say, Daniel, you know, keep doing stuff like this, because it's always great to talk Arsenal, and you can see from all the comments coming in that people just love to talk Arsenal. So really respect and appreciate what you're doing as well. Well done.
Yeah, no, thank you, mate. I really appreciate that. Absolutely. Well, listen, guys, I'll be back tomorrow. Until then, take care, guys.